Everyone expected Victor Wembanyama to grow up admiring LeBron James like most young NBA stars. But after LeBron said on his podcast that today's players are better than the players from Michael Jordan's era, Wemby finally responded with comments that could split the basketball world in half. And wait until you hear which side Shaq and Charles Barkley chose. The moment I saw that clip of LeBron on the Mind the Game podcast with Tyrese Halliburton, I knew the internet was going to explode. LeBron argued that playing all 82 games in the 80s and 90s was actually easier because the game was slower and less complicated than today's NBA.
Because the game is different. Like, I want people to understand, and our fans to understand, that playing 82 games in the 80s and 90s is not the same as playing 82 games in the 2020s.
It honestly feels like LeBron is trying to rewrite basketball history to make his career look even more impressive. Fans quickly saw through it, and the backlash was massive. That podcast episode became the most disliked video in the show's history, because even many LeBron supporters felt his comments crossed the line. LeBron called the 80s game slow and crowded, but the numbers from the 1986 and 1987 seasons show the pace was actually faster than today's NBA. In 2026, players were constantly running up and down the court while taking hard hits with very few foul calls. LeBron talked about how difficult today's spacing is, but many people pointed out that players back then traveled on commercial flights, stayed in normal hotels, and had nowhere near the recovery technology modern athletes have today. It feels obvious to some fans that he is trying to defend load management by arguing that today's game is more exhausting. Meanwhile, legends like Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson played at full speed, wearing basic Converse shoes with little support and without modern recovery methods. The criticism kept growing, especially after Shaq reacted strongly to LeBron's comments. But surprisingly, younger players were upset too. Victor Wembanyama reportedly felt LeBron was disrespecting the legends who helped build the game. Many fans believed LeBron was trying to protect his GOAT status by downplaying previous eras. Social media exploded with debates about flopping, foul baiting, and whether today's NBA has become too soft. Things got even worse for LeBron when players like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder started using the same foul drawing tactics against the Lakers. During those playoff games, LeBron looked frustrated, as the younger generation used those strategies better than ever. According to reports, Wembanyama saw it as proof that the NBA is losing its identity because of foul baiting and soft whistles. Then he reportedly made a statement that left the entire Spurs organization shocked.
The so-called king needs to put some respect on the legend.
When I heard that, I was shocked because you almost never hear young players talk about LeBron that way. Most people would wonder why someone born in 2004 even cares so much about the basketball of the 90s. But that is exactly what makes Victor Wembanyama different. He studies the game deeply, and has spent countless hours watching legends like Michael Jordan, Shaq, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And honestly, the story goes even deeper once you look at Greg Popovich's influence. Popovich has spent decades defending old-school basketball values like toughness, defense, and discipline. Over the last 2 years, he has reportedly pushed Wemby to embrace that same mentality. You can clearly see it in Victor's game today. Instead of relying only on three-pointers and foul calls, he dominates through post moves, mid-range shots, and physical play in the paint, almost like a player from the 90s. While many players focus on spacing and drawing whistles, Wemby plays with a style that reminds fans of Tim Duncan and the old Spurs teams. It feels like his entire approach is a response to the idea that modern basketball is somehow too advanced for past legends to survive in. The most surprising part is that many NBA legends seem to fully support him. It almost feels like older stars saw LeBron's comments and decided to back someone who still respects basketball history. And when Charles Barkley publicly praised Wemby this May while criticizing LeBron's "today is harder" argument, it became clear that this debate had reached another level.
And this guy is like 4 inches taller, and he's athletic. It can shoot threes. I mean, it is a beautiful thing.
But if you really want to see a huge change in opinion, just look at Shaquille O'Neal. There was a time when Shaq seemed like Wemby's biggest critic. He kept saying Victor was simply a tall player with skill and questioned whether he could truly dominate the league. But now in 2026, Shaq has completely changed his tune. He's calling Victor Wembanyama the first truly perfect big man the NBA has ever seen.
I said this to you and the guy, I think Wemby is the first perfect big man that's ever created.
Shaq went beyond simply complimenting Wemby. He actually used Victor's playing style to challenge LeBron's comments about the modern NBA. Shaq explained that Wemby succeeds because he attacks the basket, welcomes physical contact, and dominates inside instead of relying only on perimeter play like many stars today. At the same time, more NBA legends started showing support for Victor. After winning the Magic Johnson Award in April, Magic Johnson praised Wemby's maturity and passion for basketball. According to Magic, Victor has the same serious mindset and love for the game that defined the stars from the 80s and 90s. Kevin Garnett also joined the conversation by praising Wemby's toughness and competitive mentality. KG said Victor has the kind of hunger and edge that today's NBA often lacks. To many fans, comments like that sound like a passing of the torch from the older generation to the new one.
He's changing how we're looking at the post position. Victor is bringing a different level of guard slash, small forward to the big.
Having support from NBA legends is impressive. But Victor Wembanyama has gone beyond that by proving himself on the court against the biggest stars in the league. While LeBron continues to focus on longevity, recovery, and his public image, Victor has built a reputation as someone completely obsessed with improving his game. Many people say Victor's mentality reminds them of Kobe Bryant. Instead of chasing fame or social media attention, he reportedly spends his time training, studying, and preparing mentally for basketball. That old-school dedication is a huge reason why former players respect him so much. Fans also noticed how emotional Victor became after certain wins this season. Some people laughed at the viral clips of him crying, but others compared it to the passion and competitiveness shown by older legends like Michael Jordan. Victor's commitment to staying healthy has also stood out. In today's NBA, many stars miss games for load management, but Victor reportedly focuses on recovery, so he can play as much as possible. Fans have used that to compare him favorably to older generations who valued playing every night. On the court, Victor's style is also very different from many modern stars. Statistics show that he rarely relied on foul baiting, and fans praised moments where he absorbed hard contact without flopping or complaining to referees. His biggest statement came during the Spurs-Lakers matchup in February, when he exploded for 40 points and 15 rebounds in just 26 minutes. For many fans, it felt symbolic, like the next generation officially challenging LeBron's era. Then at All-Star Media Day, Victor shocked people with a cold response when asked about LeBron's eventual retirement. Instead of giving an emotional answer, he simply said no and moved on, which only increased the tension between the two sides of the NBA debate. Victor's statistics have made the conversation even louder. His playoff performances placed him in historic company alongside legendary centers, while his efficient scoring and defensive dominance made many fans believe he represents a return to old-school basketball values.
It's a different game now. It's a totally different game, and it's a lot of soft tissue injuries that's happened now.
If you want to understand why so many fans believe LeBron James is starting to lose control of the GOAT debate, many point to the Lakers' disappointing loss against the Rockets in April 2026. In a must-win situation, LeBron finished with just 10 points, struggled from the field, and committed several costly turnovers. Critics quickly used that performance to challenge his recent claims that today's NBA is tougher and more competitive than past eras. At the same time, comparisons to Michael Jordan began flooding social media and sports media discussions. Fans highlighted how Jordan continued delivering dominant scoring performances late in his career despite playing without modern spacing, pace, or advanced offensive systems. LeBron's defensive inconsistency throughout the season also became a major topic, with many arguing that his overall impact no longer matches the standard he once set. The debate soon expanded beyond basketball itself. media personalities and analysts started questioning whether LeBron is still playing primarily to extend his career records and statistical milestones. One viral segment from Rick Booker accused LeBron of remaining in blowout games to pad his numbers, especially after a matchup against the Wizards where he stayed on the floor late, despite the Lakers holding a comfortable lead. Some commentators even speculated that LeBron's repeated comments about the modern NBA being the hardest era ever could partially be an attempt to shield Bronny James from criticism. The argument is that if today's league is viewed as historically difficult, then the struggles of younger players become easier to defend. That entire discussion has only elevated Victor Wembanyama in the eyes of many fans. Supporters view Victor as a player driven purely by work ethic, discipline, and constant improvement, while critics accuse LeBron's circle of working too hard to shape the public narrative around his legacy. Because of that, many fans now believe the NBA is entering a genuine changing of the guard era, with Victor representing the future of the league, while LeBron fights to preserve his legacy as the pressure and scrutiny surrounding his career continue to intensify.